Let's wrap this module up with a quick summary and a sample exam question. This module focused on the AWS services that support securing access to users, applications, and data. You looked at options for granting permissions to AWS Identity and Access Management, or IAM entities, and how to use IAM services to implement user federation within an architecture. You should also be able to define an AWS organization's hierarchy and describe how service control policies, or SCPs, increase security across multiple accounts. You should be familiar with different methods for encrypting data at rest and how AWS Key Management Service, or AWS KMS, supports encryption. You should also be able to suggest an AWS security service that fits a given use case. Here's a sample question to help you apply what you learned in this module. A company has two separate AWS accounts for testing workloads, one for performance testing and the other for integration testing. The accounts are grouped into an AWS organization's organizational unit, and each account has a tester role defined. The company wants to enforce the following security rules on users in the tester role in both accounts. Testers can only access the Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS services. Testers can only start and stop EC2 instances. Testers have read and write permission to an Amazon RDS database. Which tasks does a system administrator need to perform to implement these requirements? Select 2. Before looking at the response choices, think about the keywords and phrases in the question that guide your choices. You can pause the video if you want to think about it a bit more before continuing. Two key pieces of information are that the accounts are grouped into an organization's OU, and each account has a tester role. It's also important that they want to enforce security rules on the testers in both accounts. Finally, the resources they should access are Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS. The response choices are A, create a service control policy, or SCP, to deny all actions on all AWS services except for the Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS services, and attach it to the tester role in both accounts. Choice B, create an AWS Identity and Access Management, or IAM policy with the required EC2 and RDS permissions and attach it to the organizational unit. Choice C, create a service control policy, or SCP, to deny all actions on all AWS services except for the Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS services and attach it to the organizational unit. Choice D, create an AWS Identity and Access Management, or IAM policy in both accounts with the required EC2 and RDS permissions and attach it to the tester role. And finally, choice E, create a service control policy, or SCP, in both accounts with the required EC2 and RDS permissions and attach it to the tester role. Pause the video to think about which two options meet the requirement. The correct answers are C and D. Choice A is not correct. SCPs cannot be attached to a role. Choice B is incorrect. An IAM policy cannot be attached to an OU. And choice E is not correct. An SCP cannot be attached to a role. Choice C solves part of the requirement. Create an SCP that denies access to services except Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS and attach it to the OU. Choice D addresses the second part of the requirement, create an IAM policy in both accounts with the permissions to allow actions with Amazon EC2 and RDS for the tester roles. Together, these actions prevent access to services beyond Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS and allow the desired permissions. Well, that's the end of the videos for this module. Use your student guide included in the course to review any of the slides shown in the video and to read additional notes. Use the links in the resources section of your course to continue learning about these topics.